Hello everybody, this is Dr. Rocks with Pounding Rocks Truck Shop, and this is an unboxing video here. I'll tell you, some of these Nissan guys are pretty awesome. Wouldn't you say so, Jet? Yes, Jet totally agrees. Floppy Nissan, who is a follower of the channel, caught wind that I was looking for a set of Vg33 injectors to try and see if that might solve my running overly rich problem. Mainly because the VG30 computer has no idea that the injectors that are in it are the supercharged injectors, and so those per duty cycle are dumping a hell of a lot more fuel than the original Vg33e injectors would. Right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So the truck totally fouled out, and I have plugs on order. I have seal kits for the injectors on order. Okay, we get it. Anyways, so I have the seal kits and plugs ordered for this truck, and I went on one of the Frontier Xterra pages and said, "Does anybody have a set of Vg33e injectors?" Hang on one more second. Okay, dude, we get it. Okay, thank you. This is Jet, by the way. He's the noisiest one in the fleet. And Benny's with us too. He's not as noisy. He's a pretty good boy. Floppy Nissan, who's a follower on the YouTube channel, chimed in that he got a set of Vg33 injectors, and let me tell you, the boxing job is absolutely amazing here. So he not only sent me 6 injectors with the hold downs, he also sent me the the rail itself as well. He's gone through the same thing. He had an R50 that I guess he was doing a swap on, and they were playing with injectors, and he was actually one of the ones that suggested that I try Vg33 injectors. I've had a few different suggestions, and I figured I would go from the least expensive to the most expensive. Hang on one second, I'm going to cut this open here real quick. I'm just going to throw a key through it and get it open here. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. The packaging job is absolutely through the roof here. He's like heat sealed it. So from my understanding, he actually sent these injectors out, or he did some kind of sonic cleaning on these injectors before he even sent them to me. And I just blown away. So these are the Vg33e injectors with pink connectors. They're the same connector as the Vg33er, different color, but the flow rate on these injectors is way less. Where I think the flow rate on the Vg33er is like 370 cc's, somewhere between 320 and 370 cc's. I'm getting conflicting reports on the internets because no one really knows. These, I believe, are about 50, 60 cc's less per duty cycle. So hopefully the computer can pull these back even further, and maybe it'll run a little less rich than what it was. It was definitely pig rich, and some of it might actually have been my fault as a result of running it with the timing so badly off that it was, remember, what was it, 2022 was the first time the truck ever tried to start. And it started for 15 seconds, ran and shut off, and then it would start worse and worse and worse, and then it would just crank and it wouldn't even try anymore. I think it's just because the timing was off. It was fouling out the plugs, and then they would dry off, and then the next day or next week or whatever, they would start back up and it would run again, and then it would shut back off. And it did that for like a year, and then I didn't touch it for a year. I did other things to it, and then it came here. Justin brought it over on his trailer. We pushed it in the barn, and all last winter I fleshed out all the electronics and everything else that needed to be addressed, and it ended up being May of this year. I tried cranking it again, and it did the same thing. And then I did a little bit of monkeying around with the timing, and I got it running with it was idling at about 3,000 RPMs, and then we monkeyed with the idle air control motor, and that got it down to about 1,500, but it would still shut off and run bad. So one day, Justin came over with me, and we were just tinkering with the timing. And there's a previous video you guys can tune into, and it shows that by advancing the timing 2 teeth, I believe it was off, advancing the distributor 2 teeth brought up the vacuum to about 18 inches of mercury, and also made it so it was running and it wouldn't stall. And then also the throttle position sensor was also the problem, because I didn't have it hooked up properly. So with all that fixed, it was running. I had a video of it running, and then the next day I started it. I showed it off to my neighbor. I was revving it, showing it had boost and everything was great. I was like, oh man, this thing's running, just every time I key it over, it fires right up. And then I went to go do the video of driving it down the driveway, and that's when problems started. It started right up, but after I gave it a little bit of gas, it started running extremely poorly, and then barely running at all. And then by the time it got to the end of the driveway, it was blowing black smoke. It quit. I backed it back up the driveway just in time for it to quit permanently, and now it just cranks and it does absolutely nothing. So I assume that the injectors were the problem, because when I pulled the spark plugs, they were completely fouled out. So this is really a nice looking rail here, Alex. I gotta say, it's got some cool bluing going to it. The one that I've got has it's got the pot metal color to it. It's got a little bluing on it, but not as much as this. But this actually looks kind of neat. It looks kind of showy or whatever. Who knows? But it's nice and clean. I don't see any damage or rust on it. I mean, dude, all I can say is thank you very much for going above and beyond. If ever I can do anything to help you out on your front, just let me know. The weather here is really kind of lousy this week, but next week's supposed to be decent for a couple days. We're supposed to be back up in the 60s and 70s with sun and dry. So I will pull the cover off the truck, and we'll tinker around with this a little bit. I ordered a O-ring kit from Harbor Freight. This is a Viton fuel O-ring assortment. Guess what? None of them fit. So I'm gonna still have to come up with an O-ring. The seal kits still haven't shown up, and the spark plugs haven't shown up. So I'm really not gonna start slapping anything terribly back together, because I don't want to. Number 6 spark plug is the easiest to do with the blower off, hands down, and I want to make sure I have all the pieces so I can slap it all together at once, key it over, hear it run. If it runs better and everything's great, then I'll make another video of it going down the road, just so I can say that I drove it down the road and back in 2023, and then the cover goes back on, and then I will look at it again in the spring. So once again, Floppy Nissan, awesome, dude. I can't thank you enough. This is amazing. So I just got a few other pieces to have come in the mail, and we can get back on this thing and get rolling and see if this makes any kind of difference whatsoever. Every fix past this point gets more and more expensive, because you're looking at changing to adjustable fuel pressure regulators or standalone units and stuff. I did go out and get a mass airflow sensor off of a 2001 Frontier with the pigtail. That's another possibility. These are all growing pains. We will figure this out. We will solve this, but it's one inexpensive step at a time, especially in this economy. Like, share, and subscribe, folks. Give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel. And leave me a comment down below. See you guys.